Okay, we are going to continue from the part where we stopped. As I was showing you during the screen share, um, there's an option. There's an option here that will allow you to make softer the line if it doesn't look so well. I'm going to create a new line here, considering that this one is already done, so I can show you. Remember, to stop adding lines, you have to press the Enter button. Now, with that option, Edit Paths by Nodes, you just simply carry the line like this. And here is definitely much simpler than making the nose since it barely has any kind of difficult curves. Actually, sometimes when I don't feel so good to make vectors, but I have to, I find it difficult to make noses. So now we are going here, and I think here, instead of moving just the line, I'm going to create a node. To create a node, you just simply do a double click and there it appears. So do it like this, and yeah, it doesn't look so curvy, but don't worry. For that, we are going to move it like this. No, actually, yeah, like this maybe. Here. See, when you move it, it appears also here. No, maybe it's not necessary. Sorry. Yeah, like that. Usually, I recommend you that when moving lines, you have the button Alt pressing simultaneously. From what I notice, sometimes when you don't press it, some you can't move so well all the lines. I know I'm not expressing myself here in the best way, but um, it basically moves the entire object in a better way. So Alt, left button, and there you move it. This to adjust. Now we're going to adjust it a little bit more here. Alt, press, like that. If I don't press Alt, um, well, here is not the case. Well, we're going to adjust a little bit more, like this. Moving this a little bit more here, here. Okay. Now you see this is starting to look better. Now, this is what I wanted to show you from the beginning. You see here there's some pikes, parts that aren't completely softened that are really appealing to see. So to delete those peaks, You just have to press the node that is affected. And then here, there are several options that are below um, the names like path, text, filters, extensions that basically are options for the path for the line. The one that I'm going to press is right below text and path, and there are three that usually I use. One is this, this, and this. Look what happens when I press it. You see, suddenly this is looking better. There's still like not completely curvy, but you fix it moving it. See? Now here, press it, extend like this with the blue line. Then we move it like this. We adjust some more. And I think there it looks perfect. You can always adjust a little bit more, but now that looks better. Now, you see that the line doesn't looks very thin. To make it to change um, to thinner to well the other way around, you go to fill and stroke, this option that I showed you before, and then you go here in the last tab, which is called stroke line. This will allow you to adjust the width. Um, Usually you can go trying to see which one looks better and fits better in the drawing. I think I'm going to use this width for the drawing. You can just keep adjusting a little bit. Ah, okay, now, now I remember why it was important the Alt button. Look what happens when when I don't have the Alt button pressed. If I want to move only this part of the nose, you see, now it's not appear anymore. Never mind. There. Okay. Now, um, we're going to continue from here. A strike line, as always. This option to move the line. And then you adjust it from the bottom and the top like that. And usually I recommend you to use the same width in almost all the lines unless there's a specific part is that is that well needs other kind of width. But for the body, use always the one that you use here in the nose and mouth. Okay. Now we're going to continue from the horn. I apologize if in the horn it won't look so good at the beginning. Usually struggle, but I always find a way to do it. But yeah, let's see. Press here in the line that unifies the two opposite lines, the two parallel lines. Press this button to smooth the lines, and there you'll see that it will look much smoother. Now you just move it in this way, move it like this, and you'll see that suddenly it takes the shape. Right? Okay. Here, this, press Alt so you don't move all of this because otherwise you move all the object. I always recommend it to use it all the time. To press Alt while editing the path. More or less like this. All right. I'm going to be adjusting here. Maybe to create some node, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it will be enough. Well, we paste again the width here. There we go. It's looking better. We are going to make it like this. Maybe there. Now. Oh, okay. Now we are going to the ears. The ears. Just basically the same thing. You start making straight lines to the basic points. You just press here, move it below. It doesn't look so well. You can just delete a line, pressing the button delete that should be in the keyboard, and create another one. You go testing. If a shortcut from this option that I unconsciously do it is to press Shift and S and the letter S from soft. There, and there it looks better. Now we're going to move this a little bit here out so you don't move all the line. Better. Let me just try. this little part of the year always is a little bit complicated to me. I mean, I know it looks fine, but I prefer it to look in the same way. And since it's been a while since I vectored something, sometimes I can forget a little bit the things that I did. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah, yeah, I think this is looking, I know. Mm, to delete, as in every program, it's Control Z. Mm, yeah, there it looks fine. I deleted the note here because when you vector, the best thing is to have as less nodes as possible. This is because if you have too much, it's more difficult to edit the lines and sometimes it won't look so good, it won't look so curvy, and you have like little mountains that aren't exactly so soft. So that's the reason why the less, the better. Now, width like this, and there we go. There's looking more appealing. Okay, now let's go to the body. Let's press the pen here, straight line, move below. Here it's simpler. Here there's a little curve, so let's make it this way. Let's make it like this. Until you just adjust it. Maybe one line here won't be bad. Don't worry about if the lines cross other lines like this because that will be fixed when we paint. it was simpler, like this. Okay, now that's the line that I wanted. Again, paste the width. There you go. Maybe we can make them all a little bit more big, the line. So you press Shift to select all the lines that you want. Shift, select, Shift, select. At the same time, you have to press it all the time. Shift. Press Shift here and Shift here. And since all the objects here has the same properties, to change, there's not going to be conflict while modifying things. So you just move this a little bit, and I think this will be the final width. Yeah, like that. Now the leg. Again, point, 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 straight lines. Oops, sorry. Point, 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 straight lines. Now in the legs, I think it was a more special case, and I did it differently from other parts of the body. Let me remember. Think in both lines, in both nodes that are in the final part of that are on the hoof. You just soften it, then you move it like this. You press Alt, you move the node, and then in the other one you also adjust it. You adjust it from here. Now when it doesn't appear here, the blue line that you did the curvature from the extremes of the nodes, you just move a little bit the line like this and it will appear. Now here we do the same. We adjust it here, press, move it in that way. Now might adjust a little bit here. It's more complicated to do it in this plate since there's curvatures everywhere. It will move the lines everywhere. It's not like in other parts like in the mouse, that if you move it here it won't just move this part. Now in the leg it's different. Just move it like this. Perfect. Now again, let's paste the width. When you don't feel satisfied, you can still edit. Like that. Maybe here I press this button to soften it in other way. this is why these two buttons specifically are very important. It lets you make different kind of how to say to it makes you it lets you to make softer the line in two different ways. If one doesn't look in the way that you want, you can just try the other and most likely it will look all right. Okay, I think this is done. Okay. Now we I forgot this part of the ear. It's pretty easy anyway. Just the line, move it, just adjust. No big secrets here. And here, I don't recommend to use the same width since this is more thinner than the rest of the body. So I'll just select the width until it looks good for you. I think I will leave it this way, a little bit more thinner. And here in the horn, forget these lines. Here you can do this if you want to make a curvature from the beginning without using the tool. You just have to hold the button and then move the arrow to the top, to up. They will look like this. I personally only use this method when it comes to make one line and it's simpler, because otherwise it becomes more difficult to edit. So let's do it again. Press, hold, and to the top like that. Then you simply adjust it. It's like a shortcut. Okay, now here as well, I do not recommend to use the same width as all the parts of the body. So you just increase it a little bit like that, and then you just copy and paste it in the other parts. Remember, press, hold, up, enter. Press, hold, up, enter. Just move here. Paste the width. There we go. And let's do the final one. Press, hold, up. Since here it looks mostly fine, I just press the arrow here, move it, then if it still doesn't appear here, the blue line on the other corner of the node, you just make here a new node with pressing 2 times, you delete it, and there it will appear. Okay, and now let's paste this again. Okay, now let's make the other hoof. When there are curves like this, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, but adjusting as necessary, it will look fine. Press, 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 it will look like a square. We'll do the same thing. softening, softening, adjust, adjust, Alt, move the node to down, we adjust here, move, sometimes if you have the Alt button pressed, it won't let you to move completely the line up. I mean, when you want to use the blue line here, that it's on the extreme of the nodes, so you just not press it and move it. Here, so we copy the width, we paste the width, and there we go. There is looking fine. We just adjust it from here, there. Now we're going to do the other line here, straight line, move down, adjust from the corners with the blue lines, there, out, I think, well, let's adjust it a little bit, paste the width, there we go. Now, point, point, move down. Here, I'd also recommend to not use the same width. Maybe like that. Yeah. Okay. Now, you can decide what part to do first. I'm going, I kind of do it in an arbitrary way. I just go and to the part that I really want in the moment. There's no really a rule to follow here. Be careful when you are close to another node because the program will automatically want to unify the new line that you are creating. Okay. Same width. Perfect. Now let's do the other part of the main. This will seem a little bit more difficult, but don't worry. When it's too curvy like in this way, usually this is my style, you can do it in your way, but usually what I do is just go directly to the other point. I don't create more points despite that I could, and it just move the line from there from here, and I create a node here, and I start to move like that. Now let's continue it from here. Remember this thing. Now you move it up here. Yes, this part can be tricky. Just maybe you can just look what I do. Let's soften this part. Move down to make the other move up. Let's move this here. Let's adjust this a little bit more here. Now, you might have noticed it. Now, you might notice here that for some reason there's no peak here. There's not a peak like it appeared here that it looks clean. Yeah, this is the join lines, the lines that joins together. This happens when the lines are too close, but this is fixable. You just have to edit the number here to 100 and it will fix. Like that. Now let's do it. Just this bit there. Remember to constantly save your work. Um, Fortunately, Inkscape also makes autosave, but since it doesn't do it all the time, sometimes if Inkscape has a problem, it will save only 1 point, but not all the work. So to avoid that, since it happened a lot to me and it's a bummer to make something again, just press on to constantly save. Now let's do the other part of the main. This part should be simple. Straight line, as always. Curve from here. Now we just move here. Then we just adjust. Now here we are going to need another point, another node. As always, just be careful with this part, you can always adjust from here. Maybe we need another line here if you can't adjust it all together. Again, as fewer lines, the cleaner will look. All right. Now let's select the pen and press the note. Maybe 2 lines, 2 notes. Soften it if it's possible. Yeah. Adjust it. Sometimes it might happen this, so you have to make a close-up. Just fix it from there. And there you go, almost finished it. 100 like this, so it looks the big. Hopefully this will be enough. Let's see. Yeah, that's enough. All right. Now let's make the tail. Always the same process. Up, down, up, up again, down again. Select if it doesn't look yet the way that you want. Softening, softening. Exactly like this. Again, we select the node.
Empecé a temblar de nuevo, estoy temblando nada más, pero no tengo fiebre, estoy temblando, estoy como...
Now here.
La bebida y queso, puedes comer queso.
Sí, yo también compré queso.
No, queso duro. Queso cremoso, puedes comer eso.
¿Queso cremoso?
Sí, eso puedes comer.
Perfecto. Ahora bueno.
Okay, in this part. I recommend it to let it in this way and not make the other joint line and just make it individually. You'll see later. Why? Again, 100 here in the joint. Perfect. Now select, shift select to select simultaneously two or more. Paste. There we go. Now we'll make the legs. This part here it's interesting because the legs are hidden by the tail. So you don't have to draw them completely. You can just draw the necessary part.
Para la combi esa, la que van.
Es una combi, ¿no?
No es una combi, es tipo una de esas caravanas entre las gigantes, las que van al Tigre, cosas así. Pues son 20 personas, entonces si son 20 personas no creo que son muchas.
¿Eso es en inglés o portugués?
Sí. Bueno, y me dijeron que lleven pendrive con música para el viaje.
When this happens,
comprate un cable auxiliar.
Here, it can sometimes happen this on the end of the line. You just make an extreme close up, then move it there.
Ah, pero también incluye las termas, tenía incluidas las termas de esos 1.600 pesos. Unas termas no son para nada. Pero una de las chicas preguntó, che, ¿las termas podemos meternos ese calor? Sí, obvio, chicos, por eso vamos a las termas. Ah, bueno. Solo quiere que Coti vaya ahora a la casa
Can
de Sol.
squarish tight in the legs. Softening. Softening. Move
Después
up,
separamos.
move the
Bien, bien.
node to adjust, move it to adjust. So from here, now since this part of the hoof is not completely curvy, but it's still not completely how to say it, it's not straight. I also have a tendency to use these two options that I talk so much. Then adjust it, there it look like this, like a soft mountain. Also
¿Querés mi mitad? Sí.
like this.
A ver, dame ese juguete. Deme ese juguete. Deme ese juguete.
Okay, now let's make the other one.
Y tampoco pesa, no pasa está caliente.
Just repeat the process. So since here there's no visible part of the hoof below, you don't have to make
No, igual tampoco es.
completely
No, tampoco.
all the cursor thingy.
No, no,
Just yeah, and be careful with that. That can be a headache. But
No tengo hambre igual. ¿Por qué voy a comer si no tengo hambre? Bueno, voy a comer una casi la.
paste.
Sí, está así.
Una de las chicas con las que hay.
Apparently it got deleted
Es
from
coordinadora de
the
marketing
clipboard,
como
but
yo.
don't worry, just copy it again. Like that. Alright. Okay, this is almost done. Now we're going to the most complicated part, which are the eyes. Okay. Usually I create a new layer for the eyes. So thing is here. Okay. There is an option here in Inkscape that you will find it in. I think it was yeah, from, let me see where it was. Um, okay, what we're going to do is the shape of the eye, and we're going to do it in this way. We have to do it a path of 3 points. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5. The last one, it helps the system it helps the program to measure the size of the eye, of the circle. So we're going to extensions, generate from path. There was here. No, it wasn't here. Let me search it. I'm going to stop it for a moment.